What is up, guys? In this video I'm going to be showing you how we can create this bottom navigation bar, and as you can see it looks like a default bottom navigation bar with nice icons, and I will also show you how we can navigate between screens in React Native. So there's a lot of stuff in this tutorial. As you can see right there in the demo, we have lots of navigation components and it's actually very simple to do. So the first thing you want to do is create a new React Native project, and I'm going to be using Expo, so type in Expo in it plus your project name, and as soon as that loads just click on a blank project and we will wait for that to install. Immediately after that I'm just going to clear the terminal. Make sure you go to your navigation tutorial folder and we're going to add these dependencies, and I'm going to be using yarn to install them. So right now I'm going to go ahead and also use sudo to become an administrator in the terminal to make sure we can install it. You might have to do that. I don't know how it works on Windows, but on MacBook you have to type in sudo followed by your password. And one more thing, I'm going to leave all of these in the description down below so that you can just copy and paste them like I did. And once we have installed all of these, we can go ahead and start with the project. These are just the navigation components that we need for everything to work. So the first thing we're going to do is go to our project folder and create a new folder. And I'm going to call this one navigation. And inside navigation, I want to create something that's going to be our main container. So to do that, we'll just create new file and I'm going to call it main container.js. Then to continue this project structure, we're going to go to the navigation folder and create another folder, because inside here we also want it to contain the screens that we want to switch between. And inside here, the first one we will create is going to be a home screen. So homescreen.js. Then we will also create another one which will be called settings screen.js, and finally a details screen.js. And you can add as many of these as you want. I'm going to stop at 3 to make this tutorial shorter. So the first thing we're going to do is take care of all of these screens. They're just going to hold some very simple placeholders. So we will start with the home screen, and we're just going to go ahead and type in import everything as React from React. Then we want to import both the view and the text from React Native and export the default function, which will be called home screen, and we're going to give it a argument which is going to be a navigation. Then we will open up this block and we need to return the view that we want to display on the home page. So just to save some time, because I want to focus on the navigation, I'm going to go ahead and paste this in. As you are probably familiar with, every app has a view that it must return when it exports it. And that's exactly what I started with. I inserted a view such as in our app.js, and I actually put this in the detailed screen while it should have been in the home screen. But as I said earlier, I started with the view. So we have a view tag plus an inline style, which has flex1, align items to center, and the justify content to center, so that all of this will be centered. And the text just says home screen. It has a style of font size with 26 and a font weight of bold. And the onPress method just tells the program that it should create an alert. So that's all I did for the home screen. And the other two are going to be very, very similar. So just copy this and take it to the settings screen. Here we need to change this to settings screen, and we need to change the onPress method. So for this one, we do not want it to say that it is the home screen. So instead we are going to remove the alert, and we're going to type in navigation, which was passed as an argument over here, dot navigate, and we need to pick where we want it to navigate to. And this has to correspond to the name that we're going to give the tab. So for this one, it's going to be called home, and I'll show you later where this should correspond to. And now with that being set up, we have a settings screen that is going to take us to the home screen. Then go ahead and copy this one more time, paste it inside the details, and just change it to detail screen. And a very slight detail I forgot was to change the text. So on settings, change it to settings screen, and details is going to be set to details screen. But now we have the 3 screens that we want to display, so we can actually close these 3 tabs and move on with creating the rest of our app. So now we're going to go to our main container, and inside here, the first thing we will do is type in import everything as React from React. And we're going to type in export default function main container. And as always, we need to return something. So inside here, we will return an empty view just for now, because we need to create the placeholder in app.js. So I just wanted to create this so we could refer to it. But right now we created the main function that will be containing all of our navigation. So we can go to app.js and we can remove all of this. And as always, we're going to import everything as React from React, and we also need to import the main container, and it's going to give you a suggestion. You just need to make sure that it is actually located in the correct folder. So now we can go ahead and type in function app, and inside here we're just going to return the main container. And we need to remember to export default app. So now when we run the program, we should have nothing appear on our screen. And it's actually fair enough, it did give us this error because we referred to something that does not exist here. So just to make the program happy, we can go ahead and type in import view from React Native. And the program is still not happy because it has nothing inserted inside this view. So just to make sure everything works correctly, we're going to go ahead and add the text. So we'll type in text there, and then we can create a text box here. So hello, and click on save. Now you're going to notice that we have the hello on the screen, which means our main container is rendering successfully inside our app container. But with that being done, let's go ahead and get started with the imports that we need. So the first import is going to be the navigation container from @react-navigation/native. Then we want to import the create bottom navigator from React Navigation/bottom tabs. We also want to import iron icons from React Native vector icons/iron icons. Then we need to make sure to import our screens. So import home screen from dot/screens/home screen. And we have to do this for the other two screens as well. So import detail screen from dot/screens/detail screen. And finally the settings screen. And here we just type in settings screen. And as I mentioned earlier, we need to give these screens names. So we're going to create some constants. So screen names. And the first thing we have to do is type in constant home name. So you should create one of these for each one of your screens. And this one's going to be called home. Then we can just copy that 2 more times. Change this one to details, settings, and settings. And below that, we're going to go ahead and create a tab navigator. So constant tab is going to equal create bottom tab navigator. Now we can go ahead and get rid of this view. We can just take it off there and take off the import because we will not be using it inside our nav container. So inside here, the first thing we want to refer to is the navigation container. Then right below that, we can type in tab.navigator, and this is going to contain a lot of information that we'll be using for our bottom navigation bar. So the first thing we want to do is specify which screen we want to appear first, and this is going to be called the initial root name. So that's going to equal our home name because we want it to go to the home page first. Then we're going to create some screen options, which gives us a lot of flexibility with how we want our layout to look. So here we're going to have to insert a root, which is essentially a location or the location that we're on. And this should be inside parentheses because this is a arrow function. Add another pair of parentheses and add some curly brackets inside. So the first thing we're going to do inside here is refer to the tab bar icon, and it's going to take some parameters. So we want to know, is it focused? We want to also specify the color and the size, and that's going to be an arrow function. And I've taken this parentheses a bit too far. It should stay right there, and add a comma here. So we need to create a variable called icon name, so let icon name, and we want to also create a route name. So let route name equal route.name. So now we have to check if the route name is home, then we want this certain effect to be applied to home. So to do that, we'll type in if route name is equal to the home name, then we'll go ahead and type in icon name is going to be equal to, if the icon is focused, it's just going to be home. Otherwise, it's going to be a home outline. So depending on whether it's focused or not, we're going to assign it one of these two icons. which is included in the en icon package. And we're essentially going to do the same thing for the other two. So we're going to type in else if rn is equal to details name, then we want to provide a different effect. So inside here, we will just copy this part and paste it in. Except we need to change this to list and list outline. Else if rn is equal to settings name, then we're going to do it one more time and we're going to change this to settings and settings outline. And at the bottom, it's important that we return an icon because this will load for the page that we want to display. So here we type in return en icon and we need to provide a name, which is going to equal the icon name. And you can also change the size of the icon by just editing that field. So here we'll just go ahead and type in size, and the color is going to equal whatever color you want to pick. So instead of using this Elvis operator, of course, you can just insert icon name plus the size you want to change. And every time you change to the icon and it is focused, you'll be able to change the size and the color, and you can add some really cool effects that way. But still remaining inside the Tab Navigator, we're going to create a few tab screens so we can see something on the emulator. So tab.screen. First, we need to provide a name of what the screen is going to be, and that's going to be the home name. And the component is going to be equal to what we imported up there, which is our home screen. Then let's go ahead and close that. And I believe we can save, and we're going to have our first icon at the bottom. If anything goes wrong, of course, make sure to reload your app, because I found that working with these navigation components required a lot of refreshing and not just quick refreshing. Then we can copy and paste this 2 more times, except the second time, of course, is going to be the details name and the details screen and the settings screen. So far so good. We have the details, the settings, and so on. But I also want to show you one more thing, and that's how to customize the tab bar, because right now this is very close to the bottom. We might want to give it a bit more padding, or you might want to customize the background color of the tab bar. So right here where you see this closing angle bracket, we're going to click enter, and right below that we can type in tab bar options, which is going to equal 2 curly brackets. So we can insert some attributes such as the active tint color. Maybe we want it to be a different color that's not blue. Here we can go ahead and specify that by typing in a hex color or whatever is supported by JavaScript, so tomato, and inactive tint color, which we can just set to gray for this example. Then we can also specify the label style. So here we're going to add some curly brackets, give it a padding bottom of 10 and a font size of 10. And now we should have some more space at the bottom. But of course we also want to put some more padding at the top because it looks very weird like this. So we'll type in style, provide a padding of 10, followed by a height of 70. So now we have a very nice navigation bar at the bottom. And if we click on the text, it's going to take us to our home screen. If we click on details, it will take us to the details screen. And if we click on settings, of course, we go to the settings screen. So if you want to change any of these screens, just go to the screen we created and you can change this accordingly. So home screen can also be something random like that. And it will update over here. When we click on home screen, we're going to get the alert box that this is a home screen and we're not going to navigate anywhere. But with that being said, guys, that's actually all I wanted to show you in this tutorial. I'm going to put my project up on GitHub in case you want to look at that. It might be easier to copy and paste that. But of course, if you have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Otherwise, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.